Cello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to another Demystify the Divine weekly readings and tools to connect. So excited to be here today. So excited to have you all joining today to tune into the energies and see what we got coming down the pike. So a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, thank you to my wingman, Kayani, the artist formerly known as John. So we are calling him Kayani now. And if you want to join us on our Q&A, which will be after the general reading, and you want to get a little something going in terms of reading your cards and seeing how you can make the general message more individualized for you, we'd love to have you on live. And you can either do an audio call if you don't want to be on video, or you can be on video and shine your light brightly. We'd love to have you there. So just send him an email at kayaniproductions@gmail.com. Let him know that you're wanting to get on the show with your question, and he will set it up for you. So would love to be able to connect in that way.
Or you can also click on the link in the chat.
Or we can click on the link in the chat, because we have the technology, and this is why Kayani is good at what he does, because he makes it simple. He simplifies it. And that's actually a theme for me this month, is simplification. So thank you, Kayani.
When you started with we have the technology, you gave me a flashback of the Bionic Man.
Oh, of course, we have the technology. We can do it. There's always going to be some level of movie reference or music reference from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s with me. It's just how my brain rolls. So let's dive on in, and I'm going to just kind of close my eyes, go into my happy place here, and channel our word of the week, or sometimes it's a phrase of the week. Let's see what our dream teams want to talk to us about this week and what our theme is. People offering praise. All right, so the theme of the week, people offering praise. And I feel like this is kind of it's pretty on the nose, actually. Not only are you going to have the opportunity to receive praise, I feel like it's an opportunity for each of us to show up today and show up this week in all of our interactions and take a moment to offer a compliment, offer praise. This is how we generate higher frequencies. One of the guys that I used to date said to me all the time, that's one of the things that I really enjoy when we go out, is you always have some nice comment or a pleasant thing to say, to the server, or, to a person that you're happening to walk by. You like their dress, you comment their dress, you do things like that. It never even occurred to me. It's just something I've always done. This is exactly what this is talking about. People offering praise. We need to boost each other up. We need to support one another. And even if you aren't necessarily, there's not a whole lot that you can offer. Like maybe someone you're like, oh, that presentation really was like not great. And so how do I turn a negative into a positive? Find something that you can offer to. It's not even so much like feedback or feed forward. It's just giving that person a boost. And when we give people a boost through compliments, we are exchanging energy. So find a way. I want to say this is the challenge for this week. Find a way to at least praise one person every single day. You don't necessarily have to do it every hour, although that's a really interesting challenge too, to see if you can find a way to do that every hour. And notice, not only are you making their life better, but you'll also notice a shift in your own energy as well. And it depends on how you choose to receive that. Some people just, they say whatever and they don't think twice about it and off they go. We think kindness, but this is this goes beyond kindness, although kindness is important. It's also being intentional about saying, I'm going to do my best in a subtle way to be able to raise this person up. And I don't know whether this person needs to be raised up or not. I'm just going to trust my intuition and trust that if I'm feeling called to, comment this person's dress or that person's shoes, or, you look so lovely today, I hope you enjoy your meal, whatever it happens to be, just trust that what you are exchanging is something that that person needs, and trust that the energy will be received in the way that it needs to be. We don't have to control it. We can just allow it to be. And so I'm talking a lot about stepping into being intentional about offering praise. Let's talk about receiving. People offering praise. Are you an individual who receives praise very well? Do you receive praise and take it in and say, oh yes, this feels good, and this fuels me, this fills my love cup? Or are you the kind of person that pushes it away, or is a bit, I can't think of the word right now. It's not demonstrative, but I can't think of the word right now. It's a D word. But are you pushing away those compliments and saying, oh no, I'm deferring this. I'm not connecting with this, or thank you. Or are you the person that takes someone's compliment and puts a negative on it? Well, I was doing this or that or the other thing. I do that sometimes too, and then I catch myself. I'm like, no, take it in, receive it. When we receive praise and we allow that to filter into our energetic field, it's not really about approval. It's about understanding that that person, for whatever reason, needed to express that. And so by me receiving it, I'm helping them to elevate their energy. And so it's a reciprocal experience, right? If you struggle with taking a compliment, see it as, well, if I take this compliment, I'm actually helping somebody else because it's something that they wanted to give. And I certainly don't want to reject a gift that was given in all sincerity. So there are ways to be able to learn how to give and receive in kind. And I feel like that's why this is coming up. People offering praise, we need to keep the energy light. We need to boost each other up, even in those small ways. Everything that we do counts. Every little thought, every little gesture, it counts. It matters. It makes a difference. So this week we are focusing on, am I the person who's offering the praise, or am I the person who is receiving the praise? And both are valid. Both are important. Both work symbiotically to fill the love cup and to be able to do more. And just really pay attention if you do take on the challenge. Pay attention and observe how your body shifts. Maybe you notice from, maybe today being Monday, you're feeling a little blasé, you're feeling a little heavy, or just kind of like sluggish or whatever. And you start this right now. And by Tuesday afternoon, you're like pumped. And by Thursday, you're still pumped and you're doing your thing. There's a reason for that, because you are expanding the energy, expanding the positive frequency environment of empowerment. When you give empowerment, you also receive it. It comes back to you tenfold. So that's an interesting message. Okay, so we're going to pull a card right now from the Osho Zen Tarot. And let's see what our guides have to say.
Okay, you always forget, so I'm going to do it anyway. It's time for card pull. I can't even do it now. Now I'm laughing at you.
I do always forget because I just get in my flow, and I am like the one-stop shop here. Like I'm in my own little world. So,
I gotta do it because I zone out. Not because you're not interesting. Of course you're interesting, but my mind tends to wander. So I'll zone out. Then you'll be saying something and I don't have anything on the screen.
Well, I love it. Well, now Kayani has an announcement to make.
It's time for card pulling.
Woohoo! Never a dull moment on our show. All right, so I love this card. Look at what we got. Inner voice. Ooh. And so Osho Zen is a tarot deck that is based on the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, but it has used different sort of keyword keywords instead of, so this is the High Priestess card. So you would know it as the High Priestess, but how perfect. The High Priestess is all about intuition. It's our inner voice and our inner guidance. And so it was interesting. I was talking about that with our phrase of the week, which is people praising others, or other people praising people, or others praising something, whatever it was that we just talked about. In there, it was listening to the inner guidance. And if you felt called to say something to somebody, trust that that person needs it in that moment, and that they'll receive it in whatever way they need to receive it. I'm also hearing that this week, the message is sort of separate about the inner voice, that I feel like the energy this week is really going to support people to choose stillness. So this is kind of interesting. We can be intentional about choosing stillness. Choosing to meditate can be an act of stillness, or quieting the mind, or getting into more of a mindfulness energy. But I feel like not everybody that's watching this necessarily makes that a part of their practice, right? It's yeah, I'd love to be able to meditate, and I feel called to meditate maybe once a month, and my life might be improved if I did it more often, but I just don't feel called to it. You can still step into a space of stillness. And what I'm hearing is this week, all of us are going to, whether we're totally choosing it and all in, and yes, this is what we do, or I'd like to do a little bit more of it, but I don't really make a whole lot of time for it in my life. There's going to be opportunities in your week where the inner guidance is saying it's time to get into stillness. It's time to get into your own energy, your own space, your own, I keep hearing the word your own believing. I don't know how that pertains to inner voice really, but if we believe in ourselves and we believe in that inner voice, we can trust it and follow it, I guess is maybe what they're sort of implying there. But I'm feeling like it's of course always a choice, but it's going to be, I want to say, like everyone's going to kind of need to do it. You're going to feel the energy of, oh my God, yeah, I just need to get quiet right now. And I need to do it right now. So follow that, because that is your inner guidance that's stepping up and saying, okay, there's a message that we have for you, or we want to calm you down. Your anxiety levels are getting too high, or we're trying to shift you out of one state of being and into another state of being. So I feel like the inner voice is kind of our ally. Well, it's always our ally, but it's our ally this week in terms of connecting us to stillness so that we can feel it, receive it more, hear it and feel it and receive it more. But B, it's our ally because I feel like when you listen to the inner voice, it's also this week going to be saving you from, I'm going to say, some uncomfortable situations or from some unnecessary experiences. So this is like what I keep seeing is it's like you're sitting at your desk and you're doing your work and all of a sudden you just have this need, like, I got to get out for 5 minutes and just, breathe the air. I got to get still. I got to have some sunshine on my face. So you leave, and it's in that time that you've left, some major thing happens and there's all this chaos and you're not a part of it. You didn't have to experience it. You didn't have to dive into that. And when you come back, you find out, oh, there was all this stuff that just transpired. That was weird. And now everything is sort of going back to normal. And you're going to be like, well, that was awesome that I didn't have to deal with that. I wasn't the one that people came to ask for help. They found another person. And I'm so glad because I didn't want to have to be, stepping into that. So there's an energy of when you listen to this, it's also going to save you from some stuff that you don't need to experience. So really own that this week. I'm also feeling here when I look at this card, of course, there's these beautiful dolphins that are swimming around these, faces. It's like the being within the being, the voice within the voice, which of course is the inner guidance, the inner voice, and a beautiful crystal in the center. I feel like, so dolphins represent a high intelligence. They represent playfulness. And even though if we're looking at this as the High Priestess card, the High Priestess really isn't about playfulness at all. The High Priestess is more about, this is what I'm receiving. I'm giving it to you exactly how I'm receiving it. I am the channel or the conduit for this information. And I'm not really editing it. I'm not really feeling into it. I'm just delivering the message. The dolphins coming into this mix are saying, how do you make experiencing your inner voice a little more playful? Because it can be playful. Many times, and I've run across this a few times actually just in this past week, with clients where, they feel the psychic energy. They definitely feel that there's stuff going on there. But when they receive messages, it's usually something that, is a premonition of something that is icky or uncomfortable. And so it pushes them away from exploring their intuition more often. But you want to see it, if you're wanting to open up to it, you're wanting to see it more as an adventure. You're wanting to see it as a kind of an experiment, and you're not really attached to the outcome or attached to the way you receive the messages, or even that you would receive messages. You're just exploring. And I feel like that's kind of the message that's coming through for some of us here that are listening to this reading, is if you are wanting to explore more of your own gifts, or see what else is sort of out there, or what's happening and what's transpiring, remove the fear from it and bring more playful energy into the mix. Your dream teams want you to have a little more fun with the receiving of the information, because if it's a fun process, then when you are receiving something that might feel a little more icky or a little more scary, you're more prepared to understand that, well, it's coming through for a reason, and I don't have to be fearful of it. It's coming through in ways that are here to help me. So I'm feeling like our high priestess energy is really coming into the mix to encourage us to be more intentional about connecting to that inner guidance, because it's got stuff it wants to tell us, and it wants to be involved. It wants to play with you. Your inner voice wants to play with you, not for you to be fearful of it. So I feel like that's an important message. All right. Our oracle card pull is from one of my all-time favorite decks, and this is the Sacred Rebels deck from Alana Fairchild. Oh,
because you are a rebel.
Because I am a rebel. It's funny. My earlier years, I lived in such fear, and I was such a people pleaser, and always in a space of trying to not make waves. And I was very much a dolphin, in more so in personality, not wanting to make waves, wanting everything to be awesome and people to be happy. And as I sort of stepped more into myself and did my own self-awareness and did a lot of healing work, man, I was even surprised at how I'm like, yeah, F the system, F this, F that. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care about that anymore. I'm living life for me. And I've been so much happier in general, overall, doing that. So I never would have thought of myself as a rebel. And certainly, like, if you were to go back to any of my grade school or high school teachers, they would have been like, oh my God, she is the farthest thing from a rebel possible. But here I am. All right. So our card is, she feels, she knows. And oh my goodness, this is all about the inner guidance. Here's the difference. This card, like I said, it's about what we're receiving through the crown and through the third eye chakra. We're receiving information. It is what it is. It's not going to be sugar-coated. This involves, I want to say, the heart space. So when you're also receiving, there are a number of different areas in the body that we receive. It's the heart space and it's the soul space. So I'm going to say sacral chakra energy. So that is also a place. It's the ocean of our emotion, and it's our psychic. Ocean that we tap into, and it's connected to the feels. So there is a knowing intuition and inner guidance that comes through, and then there's also a feeling psychic energy that we feel it in the body, or we just know that something's off, or I'm feeling like something's off, or I'm feeling like this is a yes or a no. It's a bit different. It's more of the communication comes through the physical body or through sensation. She feels, she knows. So getting both of these cards, I feel like the message for all of us this week is it really is all about our intuition. And, quite honestly, that's what a big part of this shifting into a heart-based society, and love, love as frequency society rather than a fear-based society. It all is surrounding our release of being so dependent on the logical and the rational aspect of life, and bringing in more of what people call the woo-woo, but bringing in more of that intuitive knowing that's coming through. So this week, everyone is going to be in situations where they're going to be faced with the choice of, well, I could do it from a logical, rational perspective, but there's something inside of me that's telling me that it's not enough, or it's not necessary, or somehow this isn't going to work out. And I don't know why. I just know that the logical, rational path is not the only path, or is not the right path for me right now. So we're being challenged to learn how to build up our trust in our intuitive guidance, and trust in source, and in our dream teams. So what I really love about this card, of course, is she's got a beautiful peacock feather that is next to her face. And it's funny because as I was talking to you about, I used to be more of like a dolphin personality, but I kind of shifted more into, and I didn't say this, and I wish that I had shifted more into a peacock personality. And I say that because years ago, I was a flight attendant for a minute with America West, which is, I think US Airways now or something. But they had us do these personality tests, kind of like Myers-Briggs type thing. And it was, are you a panther, a peacock, a dolphin, or an owl? And I definitely fell into the dolphin. Well, years ago, I kind of came across all my paperwork again and did this same test and answered all the questions, and I am peacock energy. And a big part of that is because I'm not afraid to be seen. I'm not afraid to put myself out there anymore. I mean, I still have fear about that. I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, that rebel in me says, no, you've got to do this in spite of, what comes up for you. And I feel like that's a positive message for all of us, is that, the peacock preens, the peacock goes out and shows its beautiful colors and its feathers. And of course, it's deemed as being a bit conceited or a little cocky. But I don't feel like that's what it's about. It's more about understanding that your light within you, the core essence of you, that intuitive knowing needs to be out in the world. It's not safe for us anymore to step back and hold back that intuitive knowing. It is now the safe path for us to listen to the intuitive knowing, to follow it, to embrace it, to apply it. And that's what this card is all about. She feels and she knows. So when you feel something, trust it. Now, I'm going to talk about feelings in a second here. So we want to discern. Sometimes our feelings are connected to the ego voice. And any kind of feeling that you get that brings up fear, you want to understand that's the ego voice. That's not the voice we're talking about. That's not the she feels, she knows. That is the ego voice, which is the logic and rational that's saying, oh my God, but we can't do that. Remember the last time we did that? It was a disaster. It was a nightmare. We can't do that. Or who do you think you are? Right? We don't want to go there. The she feels, she knows is that intuitive energy. It's the psychic energy of, I don't know why, but I just know that this is the right path. Or I don't know why, but I'm feeling like I need to research this particular topic that it just showed up in my head for some reason. And I have no idea where it's going to take me, but it's going to take me somewhere. And I'm opening up to that. So we need to build trust in the intuitive voice. And part of that is learning to discern between the intuitive voice, the intuitive guidance, and the ego voice, because the ego voice is there to protect us, to stop us from growth. And that's not its intention to stop us from growth. Its intention is to protect us from any kind of harm. But let's face it, we as humans, we grow sometimes through adversity. We grow through challenge. We grow through situations, experiential situations that we say, okay, well, that was not fun and I never want to do that again. Well, you learned something. So the next time you might not do that again, or you might approach it differently. So discernment of the ego voice versus intuitive guidance is important. Also, number 2, 22. So we got triple twos in the house. So this is an energy of partnership, pairing, union, the blending of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. It also represents duality at times. So this triple two that's coming up, this is the energy of where we're at. It's learning to come together. It's learning to do some balance in our lives. Oh, I'm seeing something being highlighted here. I'm seeing a big red thing. This really speaks to me. Oh, beautiful. You are so welcome, Chris. You are so welcome. You feel it. And so trust what you're feeling. But when you're learning to build the trust and to understand the difference between the inner guidance and the ego voice, it's when I feel something, I want to tap into that feeling. Is it a feeling of excitement and it's bringing me forward, or is it a feeling of fear? If it's a feeling of fear, right away I know, okay, I can dismiss that because it's not actually my inner guidance. But if I'm feeling something and it's exciting, and then I get a chaser that says, oh, but, then I can say, okay, I can cut away the chaser and just focus on the initial, because that's the inner guidance. I hope I'm explaining that. I feel like I kind of opened up a can of worms that I'm going down a rabbit hole. But the number 2 is important. So if you start seeing 2, 2, 2, 2 around you this week as well, it's a reminder this week for all of us to really pay attention to what our inner guidance is offering. All right, let's pull a feather from the feather jar. I will die if it's like an intuition or air or something.
I don't have a song for that. You've pulled fairy magic like 72 times in the last 3 weeks.
Oh my God, I just pulled air. So air is the element that represents our intuition. It represents communication. It represents intelligence. Sometimes it represents like legal matters in the tarot. But it's really about focusing on the intuition from the high priestess space. So it's receiving intuition through the third eye. So our whole message has been about our inner guidance and intuition. I need to say no more about this particular feather. There's nothing more I need to say. So here we are. And I think I lost Kayani. So, all right. So, we are moving on to the Q&A portion of our show. And I'm going to just take a moment here and tune in and see what the questions we want to ask ourselves are, so that we can make this more individual. So take a moment to grab your decks, and I'm going to take a moment to write out these questions and see what we got. Ooh, we got good ones today. Really good ones today. Okay, so I'm not sure where Kayani went. I think there must be some kind of weird technical glitch. So I'm gonna just pull a card. Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
Okay, good stuff. So we're already at our grab our decks portion. And I'm just about to do a card pull. I've got my questions. So the first question that we're going to pull a card on today is, what energy offers a reminder for us this week to connect with our IG? So for you, I want you to pull a card that, and what card you're going to pull is going to let you know that this is the reminder for you, and this is the energy that is a reminder to help you connect with that inner guidance that's coming through. So I'm going to pull from my Osho Zen deck for this. Oh, and the card just popped out. Oh, interesting. So, and this is kind of funny, because this is the one card in the deck that is in addition to the traditional Rider-Waite deck. So this is an addition in this particular deck, and it's called the Master. So for me, this energy is a reminder for me to connect with my IG whenever I need to connect, whenever I'm running into issues with my inner guidance, or whether sometimes I'm questioning, is this my ego that's stepping in the way, or is this really the inner guidance? It's stepping into my mastery. And my mastery for me personally is going into my belly, It's into my soul space and really asking the question in that soul energy, is this the right path for me? Is this the right decision that I'm about to make? I'm going to offer this. Is this decision that I am about to make in alignment with my truth, my health, my happiness, my wisdom, and my love? If it is not, then it is not on my path to mastery. It's not going to help me with that energy of true, full self-awareness and understanding of what that is. So this is going to be a great reminder for me. I get to go within to my master and ask my master for guidance before I move into anything. And then I'm going to pull an oracle card for the second question. What card supports my ability to receive? What can I use to receive this week? This is a great card for everyone this week.
I know what card I get for that one.
Well, we'll see. We'll pull one for you. So for me, I got Heaven Sent and I got a 33. So there's a lot of master numbers, ascended master numbers and master numbers that are coming up today. So 3, the energy of 3 is creation, collaboration. So 33 is high energy with creation. And I'm hearing this is Heaven Sent. So my, this card is supporting me. It's about really connecting with my dream team and saying, okay, dream team, what is it that I need to do as I move forward? You know, what is going to support my ability to receive? Okay, dream team, help me to receive. I'm feeling uncomfortable with this compliment. I'm feeling uncomfortable with this gift from a client. I'm feeling very uncomfortable with, you know, whatever it happens to be. Help me to open my heart to receiving this with the intention that it was given and be able to give back in kind. So Heaven Sent. For me, that's where things are at. Okay, do we have some people in the queue?
Yes, we do.
All right.
So the first one up is the awesome Tri-Red.
Awesome.
And here he goes right here. He got Page of Wands for first card and 8 of Cups for second. I feel like Tri-Red is back on the Wands epidemic.
Yes, it looks like that. Well, Wands are great because Wands is passion and fire. It's creativity. It's our soul flame. It is connection to spirit and source. So it is our passion. It is our purpose. So getting Page of Wands with what energy offers a reminder to connect with your inner guidance. Page energy for you, I feel like the reminder is to always be lighthearted about it, to be the student, to be playful in your approach. Page of Wands is the sort of the energy of, oh my God, I got the most amazing idea. I'm so excited because I feel like it's the right fit for what it is I've been trying to do for a while, but I need to kind of do a little bit of research. I need to kind of figure out how it's actually going to fit in because it's not obviously, it's not making itself obvious how it fits in. So I've got to do a little bit of work, but I'm doing it from an excited space. I'm doing it from a very creative space, from a playful space, understanding that I'm not attached to the outcome of it. I'm more trying to mold it and blend it and see how it wants to show up for me. So that's going to be an excellent support for you in terms of a kind of a reminder for connecting with the IG. It's taking on that. It's kind of like wonderment and okay, this is how my IG feels to me. This is how it's going to show up for me is sort of this passionate energy, this exciting, inspired action that's coming up. I'm feeling inspired to act on something, and I need to do a little research to make sure that I know what exactly it wants to become, or what exactly I need to do to allow it to become to its full potential. So that's a great card for you to get. And then 8 of Cups for the second. So what card supports my ability to receive? Letting go. So 8 of Cups is a card of letting go. It's walking away. It's saying, I'm going to walk away from anything that is connected to past beliefs about myself, because none of that matters. What is it that I'm believing about myself today, right now, in this moment? What is it that I am having the potential to receive right now in this moment? I have to let go of stuff that is inhibiting me from, or prohibiting me from receiving. And it might be that you're letting go of a particular voice in your head when somebody, just to use the analogy, throws you a compliment and right away you want to turn it around or say, oh, blah, blah, blah. It was one of those things. It's thank you so much. And that's all it requires. Thank you so much. Notice how that feels within you and notice what you have to release in order to be able to receive that, because there's going to be a key in there for you this week. You're going to actually do this. And I feel like it is going to be connected to a compliment. Someone's going to offer you a compliment and you're going to notice right away you go into a space of, oh, well, I should have done it differently, or I was thinking about this, or I was thinking about that. And you're going to catch yourself in that moment. And you're going to say, actually, you know what? Thank you. I'm grateful that you said it. Thank you. And then notice how that feels for you to be able to just say, thank you. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to expand upon it. Just say thank you and notice what that does within your energy levels, within your energy body, because I guarantee you're going to start to feel a shift. That's really coming up strongly. Thank you so much for submitting your card pulls. That's great. Who's next?
No problem. Well, we have our weekly visitor. Last week it was Raghu, and now it's back to Indu.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Stacey. Hi, Keone.
So excited to see you. What cards did you pull today?
Well, I wanted to be a bit on the gentler side. I mean, this is just my thinking. The tarot cards are more energetic, and maybe the oracle cards are a bit more gentle. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so I pulled two cards. The first one, and I pulled it from Keepers of the Light deck.
Love it.
Kyle Gray. The first one came up was Mary Magdalene.
Oh, Teacher Awakens.
Pretty card.
Oh, gorgeous. So read the writing on the bottom, because I love this deck.
It says, you have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you.
Yes, that's beautiful. So that energy offers you a reminder to connect with your IG, because what's happening for you is you're getting a lot of inspiration that comes into the mix. You're getting a lot of inspired thought, and your ego voice steps in right away and says, but it's impossible to do that. Nobody's going to want to hear that from me. I have no idea how I would even put that out there. And you squash the idea before it's even had a chance to see the light of day. And so Mary Magdalene's coming up and she's saying, wait a second, there's a teacher within all of us. And the teacher within you means you don't necessarily have to put yourself out there. You just need to live it. You need to walk your truth. You need to step into that space and understand that you're receiving those inspirations. You're receiving those inspired thoughts for a reason. And so it's less about, well, how would I, and I'm classic for this. I get some kind of idea and right away I'm trying to figure out how I can make it a course, how I can offer it to so many people, how I can, throw it out to the world and what creative ways I can do that. And I tend to overcomplicate it a bit in that process. Part of my role and job is to offer those things, but I can sometimes push ahead. What this is saying for you is, I feel like Mary Magdalene is inviting you to do that more, to say, we're giving you a lot of ideas and it's okay for you to step into that role of teacher. It's okay to, I want to say, embrace that a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to, get in front of a classroom of people necessarily, but it does mean that when you have some of these thoughts and you're in conversation with someone over the, I want to say the lunch table or whatever, or over the water cooler, the proverbial water cooler, and they're saying something and you receive guidance that you want to offer them some words of wisdom, or you want to offer them a different way of thinking, don't let the ego voice stop you from speaking it. Speak it, because you're receiving it because they need it. So, and also this idea of sort of the give and receive, and we'll see what your second card is, but I feel like this also ties into that as well. That it's important that you understand that what you have to offer is of value, even if it's small. Even if it's infinitesimal and you think, well, this could not possibly make a difference in someone's world, think again. It is going to make a difference. You just don't know necessarily how that's going to show up. So give yourself permission to connect with that inner guidance and to listen to it. And it's the teacher awakens. Be the teacher. Be the teacher this week.
So you would not be amazed at the second card that I pulled,
Oh,
because
I'm really excited now.
it just kind of flows into it. The second card is Paul the Venetian.
Oh, yes. Experiencing grace, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Love it.
And it says, share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you.
Well, there you go. And this is that what card supports my ability to receive? Receive with grace. Receive with grace. It's not about receiving because right away, okay, I received this, so now I have to give back something in return. It's not about a tit for tat. It's saying, oh my goodness, someone is offering this to me. I'm receiving it. I'm receiving it. And I don't have to do anything other than to say thank you for what it is that I'm receiving. Again, thank you. It's as simple as that. Even if you don't, for those of you out there, and I'm going to use you, Indu, just as an example here, because it helps. I know that a lot of other people feel this as well. When we are underconfident or we struggle with our self-esteem, it's difficult to feel like we are deserving and worthy of receiving. But when you simply say, I don't have to worry about all the do's and thous and this and that, I can simply say thank you and let that be enough, because it is enough. And what's going on internally with me, I can sort out at another time. I'm receiving and I am saying thank you. Because when you say thank you, yes, you're giving back, which helps. But actually, you saying thank you also is receiving. Receiving it for yourself. It's an energetic thing. It's an energetic exchange. So that's a beautiful card. And I love that, these blessings are flowing to you this week. I feel like that's something important for you to understand as well, is that all of our hearts, we do want to receive. It might not be material stuff the way that we see it in our 3D world. It's, I want to receive love. I want to receive support. I want to receive guidance. I want to receive approval. I want to receive peace. I want to receive happiness and joy. So thank you is a perfect thing for all of us to use when we are giving and receiving in kind. Thank you for pulling those cards. Beautiful. I love that deck.
So having said that, thank you, Stacy, and thank you, Keone.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Love having you here every week.
Yes, we do. Sending you and Ragu lots of love.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye.
We're going to pull a couple cards for a couple people in the audience. But first, I want you to give some insight on this, because I kind of responded to Chris.
Yeah.
It's about the things that you were talking about in your overall message today. And Chris says, this really speaks to me, trying to figure out which way to go. Now I'm in my next chapter, and the fear keeps me back, and the indecision of which way to go. Thank you. So while you were talking, I responded with, Chris, one thing that helps me with fear of making a decision is the fear of not making one. Time will keep passing on without me, but it's also good to take your time to limit regret. And so after that exchange, of course, he would like a card pull, but I wanted to give you some insight on sort of the things that's going on with him.
Oh, absolutely. So,
or her, because it's Chris.
Her. It's actually her. It's actually her.
I'm glad I corrected myself.
Yes. So, Keone, that was beautiful. I often say this: more is lost through indecision than wrong decision. And there are times when we are stepping into a new path, or we're getting ready to step on a new path, and we've got a choice to make. And there's so much fear around, what if I make the wrong choice? There are no wrong choices. And that is one of the things that our dream teams always want to emphasize in our lives, is more is lost through indecision than wrong decision. Yes, you're learning something through indecision. You're definitely learning something. But you're learning, I want to say, you're learning to pull back. Maybe you're learning on, I should have taken that opportunity, because now I'm sitting back and I'm missing out on something. And maybe, the next time you'll be more apt to make a decision. But there's this idea and this concept out there that we have been taught that there is a right and a wrong way. And from a spiritual and an energetic perspective, there isn't. There's no right or wrong way. There's simply, I'm faced with a choice. I get to make a decision. I'm going to have an experience based on the choice that I've made. And now I'm going to learn from that experience. Was it something that I would do over again? Yes or no? And based on that information, the next time it comes up, I will make either the same choice or I'll make a different choice. And it's all about soul growth and learning. So we have this idea that we constantly have to be perfect and that every choice that we make has to be the right path, because once we're on it, we can't turn back. And that's a bunch of bullshit. It just is. We can always, every single moment, we can remake ourselves. Every single moment we can make a different choice. So if you choose path A and you're going along, and 3 weeks from now you decide, wow, path A just really isn't working for me. Like, it doesn't feel smooth. It's not going well. I'm feeling like maybe I really need to just go with path B. Then make that choice. You can make that shift in that moment at that time. So give yourself permission to get out of the fear that keeps you stuck from making the choice, and recognize that all I need to do is make a choice and commit to that choice. And my dream team is going to show up for me. My dream team is going to lead the way. They're going to clear the path and let me know, okay, this is the choice you've made. Here, take these steps, and here's what this path is going to offer to you. And in any given moment, you can say, yes, I like it, or no, I don't. And you can always make another choice. So thank you, Keone, for expressing that, because that's exactly it. I'm going to pull an oracle deck for Chris.
All right.
And a lot of us struggle with that too. Visions of life beyond death. I feel, Chris, like this is a great card for you to receive, because it's understanding that in many ways, that's why we are so frozen sometimes, because at the core of us, fundamentally, we're afraid that we're going to make a decision that we're not going to be able to get out of. We're going to make a decision that is going to lead to some level of death, whether that is physical death or whether that is a metaphorical death, through the phoenix. But honestly, peeps, death is a natural part of life. It happens. Things come to an end. And that's part of the death and rebirth cycle. We have a birth, death, and rebirth cycle. And I'm all about the phoenix. That's exactly what the phoenix cycle is about. So this card is saying to you in relation to, this next chapter, it's like, listen, there's always going to be something beyond death. We think of death as an end, as absolute, and there's absolutely nothing. It's like the TV gets turned off and the screen is blank, but that's not true. Death is merely another form of existence. It's another form of life, whether we're talking about physical death transition, or we're talking about the death of a dream, or the closing of a chapter of your life and opening up into the new. Death is merely the pure potential of something new that is about to be rebirthed from it. So use this as as your inspiration to understand that death is just another form of life. And you get to determine what that looks like. You're co-creating it. And all you got to do is tune in and say, all right, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to experience. Even if you don't know all the details of it, go with how you want to feel in this next chapter of your life. Every day, I want to feel this. And you will be amazed at what is brought into your path that allows you experiences and opportunities to feel that. So if it's happiness or joy, the universe will bring that to you. Your dream team will work hard to bring that to you in any given moment. And it's up to you then to be able to receive it. Woohoo! So I hope that's a great card pull for you. Thank you so much for asking for a card pull. It's always fun. Glad that we were able to chat about that, because I know a lot of us out there feel the same things and have the same questions. So that's beautiful. All right, who's next?
Let's pull a tarot card for Terry.
Terry, all right.
Now, I know Terry's a female because it's an I, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. But you never know these days. I mean, it's, we need to kind of break out of we need to go into gender neutral, right? So, right. Okay. So Terry, we've got intensity. And what I'm feeling with this card, and this is actually, this is the, I want to say it's the Knight. Yes, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe this is the Knight of Wands. I know it's definitely Wands. It's either the Knight or the Page, but I'm pretty sure it's the Knight of Wands. So when we're talking about intensity for you, I feel like, and I'm, I should have stipulated this, but what card supports my ability to receive? I feel like for you, it's about understanding that when you open your heart, you open your soul to this path of where you're going, where you want to be. You want to shine your light and spread the colors out into the world. The only way to receive is to receive with intensity, to say, I've been talking about saying thank you. Well, it's thank you so much. And you know what? I love your dress too, or whatever. I feel like for you, it's about understanding that energy comes in various forms and guises. And for you to support yourself to receive, I feel like this week you need a higher frequency or a higher level of energy, which means you're going to have more of an intense experience with that energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be intense, but I feel like you need to understand that the energy that's going to be coming through you is going to feel big. It's going to feel like, I want to express this. I need to let it out. I need to get this out, or I need to receive, and I need to receive a lot of it. And so I'm going to put myself in situations where I have that opportunity to be able to receive whatever it is. Maybe I'm going to give myself what I'd like to receive, and I'm going to do it with all of the colors in my palette. I'm going to do it with all of the vibrancy in my heart and my soul space. The Knight of, I'm going to read this as Knight because that's just what I'm feeling. The Knight of Wands. Knights are about quests, journeys, right? It's the enacting out of the plan. And I feel like when we're talking about the wand energy, it's enacting, what I'm hearing is enacting your purpose. So the way you're going to receive is by going out there and being on purpose, and people are going to notice. And then you're going to be receiving what it is that you need because you're already putting that energy out there. So I hope that makes some sense to you. I love this card. Like, just look at the colors in this card. I mean, it's just so delicious.
Beautiful.
Yes, I feel like I could just be enveloped in this. And Terry, these are your colors. I feel like these are the colors that are representing your soul space. So, whether you actually particularly like these colors or not, I feel like this is reflecting back to you today, or giving you, this is giving you, you're receiving the colors of your soul. So these are the colors that want to be expressed through you this week. So express them, and express them in whatever way you feel you need to. Just do it with, I want to say, do it big, do it big, feel big, and it will be so. Thank you so much for that opportunity to pull a card. Anyone else?
Yes, thank you as well. And yes, I'm a gal.
All right, awesome.
Well, I'm going to make your job actually easier. I'm going to pull my own card.
Ooh, you got a deck.
Well, from the deck that helps me the most. These are the cards that help me during the week. So let's see. My card this week is the Capital One card. All right. And hopefully that's the one that I have the most money on. So good card pull, Keone. Good.
Oh my God, you crack me up. You crack me up. Well, let's talk about capital for a second. So we're going to just play on this a little bit. So Capital One.
Yes.
When we think capital, we think the White House. We think DC. We think an area or a location that symbolizes power, symbolizes stability, right? Not necessarily, I'm not making a political comment on where things are at, because I can see your face. You're like,
No. I'm intake.
So I feel like for you, when we're talking about the capital, sort of that message for you as you're pulling it out is really tapping into, where is that part of your body? Like, where do you feel that stability, that foundation? Where do you feel that sense of, I want to say, power and stability within your body? And not power from I'm all powerful. It's more from the, where do I access my power? And the fact that it's Capital One, I feel like there's also significance in the one. You've got some new beginnings that are going to be coming up for you in really big ways. I feel like you've already got 2 or 3 maybe even that are showing up for you. You just haven't said yes to them yet. So I feel like you're going to be tapping into the oneness of, okay, what's going to work best for this new path for me? Not for the collective, for me. And that's going to be a really big decision that you're going to be making. And when you make it, and it's interesting because I forget now who it was, if it was Indu or Chris, it's how do I make this sort of decision and how do I know that it's the right path for me? I feel like the only question you need to ask is this going to benefit me? And in what ways is it going to benefit me? Don't consider anyone else in this process at this time. The consideration of others will show up later. This is about you, and it's pulling from your powerhouse, pulling from your foundation. You're the buck stops with you. The buck stops with you. And if we think about the capital, the buck stops at the capital, right?
How do you know all these? I'm convinced that you're stalking me. I'm convinced because you know too much about me. I am convinced now. Triad Stacy, can you speak to the importance of dreams and receiving messages through them?
Oh, sure. So dreams in the last several years have taken on some interest. Actually, I shouldn't even say several. The last couple of years have taken on an interesting sort of subsection of our psyche. So dreams originally were really thought to be the place in our body where we could process stuff, process the psychological aspect of things. And while that still is definitely true, our dream space is so much more vast than that. So dream states right now, there are different types of dreams, and perhaps you've experienced this. Me being the psychic that I am, I get all sorts of wild, crazy, wacky dreams. Sometimes I'm traveling and in the dream, and when I say traveling, I'm like on another planet, or I'm in another aspect or another dimension. It might be that I'm traveling to another aspect of myself and seeing, how that parallel life is living out, and I'm gaining something from that, or I'm assisting in that. Sometimes I'm traveling to connect with people that I've never seen before in my life. I don't know who they are, and I'm providing some kind of service to them. Or I'm observing and I'm learning something about the transaction. Sometimes my dream is prophetic and I'm receiving information and messaging that when I wake up, I'm remembering it. So I'm writing it down because it's going to happen in some form. It's not necessarily always going to happen in the exact way that it shows up for you. Sometimes it does for people. Sometimes it doesn't. You want to get to the theme of the dream. There's always a theme of the dream, or paying attention, if you're remembering it, paying attention to the people, places, and things that stood out to you. Those are the things you want to write out, because there's patterning that shows up in our dreams over time that is a message for us if you happen to follow or track your dreams. And sometimes when you just wake up and you have that dream, jot down those little bullet points, because there is a message for you. And typically what you'll find is within 2 or 3 days of having that dream, it's going to make itself known. You're going to start to see, oh my God, this was the same scenario of that dream that I had. Not the same players, but the same scenario. Okay, now I'm understanding why this showed up for me. So the next time I get a dream like that, I know I'm preparing myself for the fact that, okay, there's some shifts happening. There's some twists and turns here that I need to be aware of, or I'm being prepared for something so that I have the right wording at the time so that I can avoid this situation or circumstance with this person. So dreams really right now, it's the easiest way for our dream teams to communicate with us. That's why I call them the dream teams as well. Kind of a play on words, because there was an old movie back in the day. It wasn't even really a great movie, but anyway, it's funny. So dreams for us, when we are in the dream state, we are wide open. Our ego is not getting involved. Our fear is not popping up. We are not being inhibited by the 3D world. So our dream teams, our guides, our angels, the ascended masters, high light beings, they're coming in at that time because that's where they know you're open enough to receive. You're not blocking them out. And while you may not fully retain everything that comes through, there's still energy there. They're still doing the work. There's energy there. They're planting seeds that will come up later as you need it. One other thing I want to talk about with the dream state that is very prevalent right now, especially for those who are, I want to say, sensitives, light workers, empaths, healers, right? Pretty much anyone that's watching this video is going to fall into one of those categories. The dream state is here right now as well, because our teams, our guides from other dimensions are also doing a lot of healing and releasing work for us in the dream state, so that we're not having to waste our precious energy in the waking state to deal with that, because we're already sort of overwhelmed with a lot of the other stuff that we're dealing with. So there is a lot of healing energy that is coming through the dream state as well. You may notice if you've had I don't want to say it's a judgment call for me to say it's an unfortunate experience, but it can be an unnerving experience when you have like a paralyzing dream where you're like half awake, or you can't wake yourself out of the dream, sort of like Inception. It's a dream within a dream within a dream. Or you wake up and you're feeling all sorts of weird things, but you can't move your body, things like that. Understand that even though that's extremely disconcerting, and I have that happen a fair amount, so I understand it, what's transpiring in there as well is that there is some major healing that is going on. So step into that space and really try to just calm the fear and talk to your guides in that, because typically when you're in that space, you are awake. You're just not able to you're not fully in the body. That's what it is. So it's connecting, bringing yourself back into the body, connect with your guides and ask them to help you to bring you into the body state. So that is something that you may be experiencing as well. Not everyone experiences it to that degree, but there are some who have that. So if you happen to have that, fear not. It is that there's some really deep healing that is occurring at that time. And I'm going to say, thank God that it's happening in that way. Because who has the time today to deal with all of that stuff, the trauma and wounding? And I say, all right, if you're going to be able to clear it for me in the nighttime without me having to dive into it, by all means, bring it on. I'd rather have that, because there's so much going on in our everyday right now that we have to focus on. So that's kind of, I'm hoping that that's answering your question. And thank you so much for asking that question, because, there is a real mystery to the dreams. But I want to say to you, dreams are not as mysterious as they appear. There are reasons behind the why, and it's about us understanding those reasons and then understanding the why. Oh, yeah, that's great. Tasting. Oh, yeah, tasting dreams. So tasting is clairgoustience. So it's one of the clairs. It's one of your psychic superpowers. And so you want to understand, if you're tasting it in the dreams, there are going to be other things that you will taste out in the waking world that is psychic guidance. It's a psychic communication. So be aware of that. That's really cool. Not everybody has the tasting. It's not one of the more common ones. So it's always very exciting when I meet someone else who has that. So great stuff.
You said tasting is what?
Clairgoustience.
Bless you.
We have yeah, it's true. We have clairvoyance, which is the clear seeing, clairaudience, which is the clear hearing, clairsentience, which is the clear feeling, claircognizance, which is the clear knowing, clairaudience, which is smelling. You get a smell of something that you recognize. A lot of that clairgoustience comes in with I want to say mediumship, with mediums who really connect with loved ones in spirit. Oftentimes they will send a scent. You smell your grandmother's perfume, or you smell the apple pie that she used to bake, and it's coming out of nowhere. That's clairaudience. And then clairgoustience, tasting something and being like, okay, there's nothing around me. I'm not eating anything. Why am I tasting this so much? Go into, where did you first taste it, or what does it remind you of? Go to the association, because there's someone that's trying to connect with you from the great beyond.
Awesome. Well, everybody, we have no more guests today. It's been a great time here on Demystify the Divine. We want to remind you of the Phoenix Rising event, 5/23. If you don't know what 5/23 is, that's today. Local roadmap to getting your desired outcomes. The link will be in the description box You can find it in the description box for any of the Demystify the Divine videos. So if you don't see this one, it's in all of them. Everything she does is special. Not just saying that so you can show up. It's really good. And we hope that our weekly listeners and viewers come in to all of these other events, because it's a great experience. Get the full experience of the Black Feather Intuitive. I also want to thank our weekly viewers that have been here religiously, which is Tri-Red, Chris, Raghu, and Indu. Thank you for coming here. And everyone, when you come in, you don't have to come on if you don't want, but just say a hello in the chat so we can give you a shout out, because we appreciate you coming here at this time. We know a lot of you are at work. You can be on your lunch break. So we just appreciate you taking that time. This is the part where I shut up and Stacy takes us.
Thank you, Kayani. That's very sweet. Yes, thank you to everyone who shows up. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's about an hour. Brevity isn't my strong suit, so it's maybe like an hour and 10 minutes in reality. But it's a great opportunity. We do a burning release ceremony, and that's my favorite thing to do. And then we do a really in-depth card pull to understand the energies. You know, we've released the energies of May. What are the energies of June that we're letting into our lives? What can we experience and explore? What can we prepare for as we move into the energies? There's also a channeling, and there's an opportunity to get selected for a free reading or a card pull, whatever you choose. Would love to see you guys there tonight. Please join. We've got a lot of, we've got plenty of space for everyone else. I always say, come one, come all, because we are all in the soup together. And it's really beneficial when we have some guidance around what that looks like. Take care, everyone. Be safe. Have the most amazing week, and we will see you next time.